out.
Library goers peruse their books in a quiet space with sunlight spilling through the full-length windows.
Natural light shines through, so we don't need to switch on electric lights. Compared to other similarly sized libraries, we save around $300 monthly on our electricity bill.
The library's eco-friendly efforts don't stop there. The rooftop has a water-saving device that drains and harvests rainwater for other users.
After the August 8 flood, the Nanzi area experienced water shortage for 8 days, but our library wasn't affected one bit. Community residents actually came to get water from us because we had extra rainwater saved up. There was plenty of water here to go around.
The library has a 2-ton water tank that holds enough water to flush the toilet 30,000 times, while outside there are more than 20 varieties of plants in the garden. The ground is also paved with osmotic bricks that allow the earth to breathe.
I hope the library goers can be ecologically inspired by us. Global warming is getting worse. Our green building here is doing a good job of cutting down our library's emissions.
Built with lightweight steel, the environmentally conscious Nanzikeng Library is a beacon for the community and an inspiration for us all.
Now we update you on the latest progress at the Shanlin Dai community in Kaohsiung. In order to supply water and electricity for the whole area, both utility companies are feverishly working to meet their deadlines. Workers have been building a 12-kilometer-long water pipeline from Qishan's Muxing Reservoir to the site. The system is scheduled to be completed by January 15th of next year. Meanwhile, Tai Power's Fengshan branch has been providing a temporary power supply for the construction site and is now working on the underground electricity line, scheduled to supply 600 households before Chinese New Year.
Digging channels, construction workers are mapping out the locations of all the underground power lines. The arduous task will provide Shanlin Dai community with power from buried cable.
Shanlin didn't have underground wires, but since Tzu Chi's permanent housings is a collective settlement, we set up the underground power lines to supply the electricity, as requested by Tzu Chi.
All of Shanlin Township's power lines are overhead, apart from the Dai community, which is supplied with underground lines. Tai Power staff are racing to finish the project, from the initial temporary power supply to the future source for public and residential use. The electricity company has been extremely accommodating.
We will definitely be able to cooperate with Tzu Chi's time schedule. So far, our understanding is to finish before Chinese New Year, be it for the indigenous or non-indigenous sites.
Power supplies for 600 households have been scheduled for completion in about a month's time, along with drinking water from Qishan, which will be piped to the Shanlin Dai community. The 2 million liter supply of water will ensure flood victims will move in comfortably just in time for Chinese New Year.
Construction on the Shanlin Dai community is still going strong. Recently, 3 volunteers traveled to the site from distant Brisbane. Li Xiujuan, Hong Wenhe, and Li Xiujuan not only publicly canvassed for funds back in Australia, but felt compelled to offer up their love and support by coming to the Dai community in person. They also brought 3 special gifts from Australia to the new village.
These 3 neatly placed stones accompanied 3 dedicated volunteers all the way from Australia's Brisbane.
These stones are part of the landscaping. They represent a smile and hope that the victims will open their hearts and accept the disaster.
It's great to have this opportunity to fulfill the noble 8-fold path in Tzu Chi's logo to help with moving the stones. I'm so happy and grateful.
Li Xiujuan, Hong Wenhe, and Liu Xiujuan helped with Brisbane fundraising for the August 8th disaster victims. But once they arrived at the permanent housing construction site in Shanlin, they wanted to do more. So they lined up some stones to represent a smile, hoping the victims may let go of their pain.
Not every overseas volunteer will have the chance to come back here to Taiwan. We are here to witness and participate personally. So when we go back to Brisbane, we can share what we see and done with our fellow volunteers in Australia.
As they examined the construction, These Brisbane volunteers strongly feel Master Zheng Yan's dedication to serving the needs of the disaster victims, and they will take this experience back with them to share the love of Tzu Chi with many more.
One of the volunteers who serve at the construction site of the Shanlin Dai community is Zhang Suyue. 10 years ago, she experienced financial difficulty when all her assets were seized after she became a guarantor for a bad debt. Her husband fell into depression, but fortunately, Zhang had the care of her fellow Tzu Chi volunteers to keep her on track.
Busy preparing food for the workers at Shanlin Housing Project, Zhang Suyue is happily devoted to Tzu Chi. Zhang joined 10 years ago when she and her husband faced financial hardship.
In early 1998, all my property and assets were seized as a result of being a guarantor. It was really hard for me.
After the loss of her asset, life got even harder when Zhang's husband fell into depression. Luckily, she was cared for by fellow volunteers who encouraged her continuously. She now has a softer temper and gives happily at the construction site.
Being a commissioner in Tzu Chi is about being mindful, as Master Zheng Yan often reminds us on television. I keep thinking about forging good relationships when I go out.
Coming through the darkest period in her life, Zhang Suyue now cherishes and treasures each minute to sow more blessings.
Year-end blessing ceremonies took place in Keelung, Banqiao, Neihu, and the Tzu Chi Hospital in Taipei. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for watching Ai Headlines. Goodbye.